Now, while thy troubles might seem great in size, I ask you, which of all thy troubles is larger than my Father's ocean? And which of your troubles is it that has you disobeying your one master into worrying, knowing that you have been commanded not to hold on to worry, but rather to hold on to the full knowledge of the power of God and His ability to move whatsoever barriers stand in between you and His goals for your life. For it was Joseph himself who was given the dream of the sheaves of the grain, only to then afterward be thrown into a pit, to have things worsen into slavery and prison. Now, you might imagine that this may have been confusing unto Joseph. However, although his brothers, along with the enemies of the Lord, stood against him, nothing in all creation could stop God. For then, as you all know, at that time Joseph came unto something that he did not understand, something that Joseph had never seen God do, as if God himself had been saving the best of the wine for the last. And it was in that same hour which he did not expect that the God of the universe brought forth that same ancient wine, and Joseph himself was exalted unto the right hand of Pharaoh. And that rock face crumbled, and the way became clear, and the years of which the locust had eaten away in his life were fully restored. There is no problem in thy life that the Lord God cannot fix, no wound that God himself cannot heal, for the maker of the flesh knows each of his servants, for his servants are the works of his hand, unto the point that whensoever God chooses to speak, at that same moment you will be healed, as the mountains bow low unto the voice of their Creator. For love is a very powerful thing, ever constant, and although it may stumble, it does not fall down. Love is a mighty warrior, willing to lay down their life for those that they love, and a love like this is worth her weight in rubies. No greater love hath anyone than this, to stand with God and not let go, on behalf of those whom you so love. And yet I speak of a thing not one among all mortal mankind can comprehend. For the love of God is a narrow pathway that leads unto a field of verdant green, that is clothed in such light that the heads of the grass there appear as daylight itself, appearing as gold or even crystal. And there in that place he awaits his beloved sheep, for whom he died, clothed in a robe of sovereignty, that when you see it, you will understand why, in the Bible, when he calls to each of his apostles, at once they lay down their lives and come following after him. There is a high above all life, a guiding star, sending its light unto its children to aid them, shining down upon the pathway that must be walked in order to reach the destinations of the blessings which they have chosen to walk. Day after day the guiding light comes down to help them at the crossroads, enlightening their steps, giving them the light necessary that they might walk as it leads the way, pointing them across the river Jordan. Now, the co-laboring of a Christian covenant is, truthfully, a mutual agreement between not one but two parties. The Lord's wisdom keeps and watches over his precious few, guiding their steps in the full confidence of the knowing that when your own wisdom fails, the voice will speak, instructing you in the way which you are to walk. You will walk through the fires, and you will not be burned. Seek ye the way to survive in the furnace of the flame, for there in the furnace is the heat and pressure, and also the flames of the sulfur, which will be calling out unto you. For sin is always crouching at thy doorstep. It desires to have you. Therefore, you must seek the narrow pathway of the few, which is bathed. And on that pathway, there is the light necessary to walk. Joy, peace, abundance, and a sound mind in a freedom that very few will come to know. The freedom within the Christ. Evildoers are ensnared by their transgression, but the righteous escape trouble. And there upon the narrow pathway, you will learn the ways of the light necessary to accomplish all these things, for the light enriches all life. But this road cannot be bought, nor can it be given unto you. No, you must seek it for yourself. Seek me, and you will find me. For there have always been two houses of people, those who wish to rule, but do not wish to do the work necessary to rule. And such as these will try to rule over you by the ways of the darkness, the twisting of the scriptures, and all manner of wicked things. And those who are willing to seek, as God hath commanded you to seek. And such as these are willing to do the work necessary, so that they are able to rule by the ways of the light. On account of this, know that you are not to allow your interpretation of the faith to weaken you or diminish your life, because the faith interpreted accurately magnifies the light of life, focusing it into a strong and powerful beam of the light, so that it is able to accomplish even the mighty deeds of the prophets, and this is love. But the crop is plentiful, yet the workers are so very few. The theologies of the many are not God's nor Christian theologies. No, they are opposite to the Christ. Many shall come before God with a myriad theology, and yet only the few can accurately interpret the faith, which is why many of you will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and drive out demons in your name, and perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. Know also that love is the core of God. Therefore, you must learn to discern what love actually looks like, not observing the ways of mankind to learn the love of mankind, but learning to love from God himself, a love which endureth for all time. The love of the Christ that is willing to lay down his life on behalf of the flock which he loves. For only a love like this is a Christian love, and this love is a love that divides the darkness away from it, so that you might be able to build the light. The light cannot be built in the darkness, nor is the darkness found amidst the light.